Welcome back to the Health Chat. I'm Dr. Greg Eckel.
I'm Dr. Greg Nye.
And today we've got a timely topic. It's springtime here in the Northwest. And
rough time for a lot of people.
Means rain and more rain. But it is time actually to start prepping yourself for allergies if you've got seasonal allergies.
Yeah, and prepping is the key because I think a lot of people wait until their allergies hit.
Yeah.
And then it's not too late, but it's a lot harder.
We do see tons of folks through the Willamette Valley, and it's not just here. There's allergy sufferers around the globe, and by the time you have symptoms, it's kind of too late for that season. It's really palliation is what we're going for. Sometimes we go to the big guns of actually using pharmaceutical agents just to stop your suffering. Right now, though, is the time to start prepping.
Now is key. And really loading up on all those things that help to mitigate the impact.
Through time, so I actually wrote my doctoral thesis on allergies and asthma. That was way back in the day.
It was like a typewriter when you did that?
I hand wrote it way back then. And what we found, we've got all kinds of different approaches of dealing with this. And if you've been a long-time listener and watcher, definitely we're going to address your diet. Address with an elimination diet and a cleanse is really a good starting spot for everybody. Even if you know it's just environmental component for pollens, looking at the foods. Foods definitely contribute. If you've got inflammation going from the environment coming in, it will definitely start to gap your cells of your gut lining.
I think in the naturopathic world, we really are thinking about allergies in the same way that we think about, let's say, migraine headache. The problem is not the migraine, right? The problem is whatever is causing the migraine.
Right.
And our job is to figure out what's causing the migraine. Because if we deal with that issue, then the migraines go away. And we don't treat migraines necessarily. Right. And in the same way, allergies, the physical manifestations of allergies are not where we need to focus our treatment. The question is, why is this person having a hyper-reactive response to their world and this person isn't? What's the difference there? And so we have to look at all those possible contributors to what keeps a person in that reactive state. And we see it over and over that when you address things like diet and a food or a set of foods that are not right for a person. They may not know that because the reaction doesn't happen right away. It may be a very kind of low-level thing that they don't notice at the time that they're eating it. But when you identify that food, get it out of the diet, the overall reactivity to environmental things. I've seen someone who was intensely allergic to her cat.
Right.
She couldn't be around her cat without taking lots of medications. And so we had to go through this process of identifying dietary triggers, and
you told her to stop eating her cat.
she was giving her cat a bath by licking it, and it was no. But what actually happened was that we found that when she reintroduced soy, so by the end of the elimination process, she was no longer reacting to her cat. She could pet her cat and then rub her eye, and there was no reaction.
It's kind of that analogy of how full is your cup.
Yeah. And so found out that then when she reintroduced soy and then pet her cat and rubbed her eye, boom, there was her reaction again. And now I've had contact with her probably 4 years since discovering that. And to this day, she's not reactive to her cat unless she has soy. What's the connection between soy and that cat? I have no idea. But there's something about exposure to soy that makes her allergic to her cat.
And I'll put an asterisk on that because when you tell folks about, it was soy for this one individual patient, then other allergy sufferers go out and say, soy creates allergies. It's like, it's different for everybody. So you actually have to figure it out for yourself by doing an elimination diet. We do have that elimination diet booklet on our website. And through time we found there are definitely certain nutrients and vitamins that really do help modulate that immune system response that Dr. Nye is talking about. I kind of give the analogy of just turning down the stereo. right? When you're exposed and you're ramped up, your stereo is up to 13 on a scale of 10.
Right.
So what we're looking to do is just turn it down. We don't want to turn it off, like if you're doing steroid therapy, kind of conventional treatments, just turn off your immune system response. And that, I mean, it does get you out of Symptomville, but it ultimately doesn't get to that root cause and how full your cup is.
Right, and I think even worse than that is that it sets up other problems down the road, because you shut off your immune system. Right. You've not just shut off allergies, obviously you've shut off response to all kinds of environmental things that you don't want to be shut off against.
Right.
So those therapies, you know, they help here,
They
and then
definitely
they have all these
repercussions,
other consequences that you don't want to have.
Yeah. So we developed a product called Allergy Relief, because we both got sick of prescribing 5 or 6 different things to all of our allergy sufferers. So you can also check that out online. We've got vitamin C in there, alpha lipoic acid, nettles, enzymes, and we've got patients it really does help them tons through, you know, even if they're year-round sufferers of allergies. We found that that is a great addition in there. And then you also look, as we kind of alluded to, we're treating the gut. Taking probiotics along those lines and really changing that ecosystem response to other. Through the years, we've done all of that, and there's still a subset population of our patients that kind of have matriculated through our treatments, and then they still get hammered every year. So over this last year, I went looking for, well, what else can we do for these folks? And came across a great therapy called low-dose allergen therapy. And it's a traditional, well, it's kind of cutting-edge immunotherapy as far as the conventional docs are doing. And it is, it's an injection of homeopathic preparations of allergens, environmental and food allergens. And we look at, it's not the traditional allergy shot where you have to go in once a week or twice a week for 3 to 5 years. This one we're looking at is, it's a injection every 2 months. And there is actually a limited amount of injections that you get, because it basically will resolve your immune system imbalance. And we are we're looking at it. You know, early results are really promising for folks. I had a woman suffering with allergies. She had to take Zyrtec every day, or she broke out in hives. And she, on her first injection, she basically is off the Zyrtec and not having hives. So it is, it's very promising. You know, we'll see how she does through this allergy season. She's been one of my tougher patients with allergies that we've been looking to alleviate her symptoms and actually correct an underlying imbalance. But there are different mixes there. You know, it works on the immune system, on activating T suppressor cells. You know, we're again just still looking at that background research to see, well, what are the potential long-term complications or risks of shifting your immune system response. But you know, I think in theory, what we've been doing with Chinese herbs and acupuncture and Western botanicals and diet is really shifting that balance naturally. Now, sometimes we need just a little bit more substance to help shift that Th1 to Th2 response, and so we're it's a very promising therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, really, in my mind, allergies, like anything else, there's the constant work that you do to figure out what's underlying. We know that the allergic response is the same immunological response as we have to parasites. So there's potentially a link to a chronic parasitic infection that leads someone to have an allergic response, and so that has to be investigated. We know that there are links between heavy metal toxicities and potential imbalances in the immune system. So while we have to do therapies to get people out of misery, and I think this low-dose allergen kind of therapy is very promising, at the same time, we never give up on that other investigation that needs to happen, which is why is this imbalance maintaining itself? What is perpetuating? So
yeah, because that always leads then to other issues in imbalances. So really going after the root cause, it is our unique way of treating, and I think that's why more and more people are choosing the naturopathic route, is we actually do address the underlying cause, and it really does. It makes just lasting differences across the board on somebody's well-being. It's truly amazing the changes that we see here, and just the blossoming of the potential for people to be well and actually thrive. You know, we take that statement very seriously. It's not just a tagline for marketing purposes for big HMOs.
And you know, one of the therapies that you mentioned that I think really comes into play in a big way with allergies is acupuncture.
Yeah.
And you know, acupuncture is great for essentially everything. We use acupuncture because it always helps. Whatever you're doing with somebody, acupuncture will help the therapeutic process. But in particular, with pain and allergies, it seems like you can really have significant impact.
Hit some home runs for folks on their allergies.
Yeah.
All right, so let's switch gears because we've got a question, and we always want to answer these things. So definitely keep sending them in. But we had one on earthing blankets, and are they a scam? Do they work? What do we think about earthing?
What do we think about earthing?
Yeah.
That's a good question. You know, there actually research that's been done, I think it's mostly in Germany, where they have looked at a lot of different physiological parameters associated with people that are on these earthing mats. There is certainly a theoretical reason that it makes sense to me that they would help. Right?
This is old school nature cure.
This is, you know, over millions of years we were exposed to a certain background pulse from the earth that has been completely overwhelmed now by this ocean of frequencies that we all live in. Every time you see somebody's cell phone ringing, that's coming through. That's coming through you.
Yeah.
It's not actually penetrating through, but it's at least hitting your body. And so everything electronic is in some way impacting our bodies. And so that background pulse of the earth that for so long was the only pulse anyone experienced has been kind of overwhelmed.
Right.
And so the idea behind earthing is that it's lying on mats or even just resting your feet. They have mats for the bed so that while you're sleeping, you're exposed to this natural rhythm, the resonance of the earth.
Yeah.
And so there are studies. I don't think it is completely a scam. I don't think it is any kind of panacea for all kinds of ills.
Right.
But I do think that the more that we can be exposed to a natural rhythm in that way, it simply facilitates whatever other kind of healing process that we're trying to go through.
I mean, this goes back to you know, just pure naturopathy with going outside in the morning barefoot and walking in your grass.
And in fact, that's one of the recommendations of I think it's the Earthing Institute, or I'm not sure exactly, but you start your day that way. You go out and walk in the dew every morning.
Right.
15 minutes, I think. You just walk barefoot in the grass. So make that part of your daily routine.
Reconnect. All right, well, thank you all for watching and listening again, and please send your questions to questions@naturecuresclinic.com, and we'll see you soon.